The Binding of Isaac is a cool 2D game, but it was released and happened 12 years ago, so I think it's time to upgrade it. That's why in this video I put together all my game developer skills, which aren't that many, and challenged myself to make it as a 3D first-person shooter game. Oh yo, wake up! Gamers! In the beginning I added player movement with a small tweak that improves the feeling twofold. It's called the head bob effect, which is achieved by making the camera bob up and down slightly, just like in real life. This gives a more natural feel to the moments and makes a big difference for the player, which is pretty cool. Then I added 2 sausages to replace the player hands. And as you know, all shooters have the ability to peep out. Ours is not an exception. Just like in the original game, our character can shoot tears. But to make it unique, I added a tear joking effect that goes all over the screen and distorts the view, like real tear would. And another unique feature of our shooting mechanic is the lack of sight, just like no scope in CSGO, you know? For the first time it may seem challenging, but it actually makes the gameplay more enjoyable and interesting. Next I added the ability to kill the enemies, but after that we have to tell the player that he can suck too. I think contact damage will perfectly cope with this task, and to give the player a better feel for his mistakes, his screen will shake and flash red when he receives damage, which will create a good indicator of a sucky game for the player. But our enemies are not punching dolls, so we need to bring them to life! The first one is the Gapper, which you have already seen. He's a melee fighter that chases the player, but not with his ass. Also, it's cool. And when he gets close, he uses a headbutt attack. If you remember, the Binding of Isaac is a game that's crawling with different sorts of monsters. So we gamers can lag behind and we'll add monsters! The next of which is a Hoppy. This guy jumps to a random point in the room and does damage if a player was standing nearby. But he decided to become a ninja for some reason. No matter, we will turn him into a normal monster. Yeah, I'm sure in my words. So guys, here we don't talk about Hoppy, let's move on to the next topic. I know you are adults and know where monsters come from. Of course from other monsters, like our guy we are talking about here, appear from the Gapper after his death. Yeah, I saw it was quite educative. You are welcome, bro. Next I created a fly with breaths. Yes, with breath. Oh no, I fixed that, so it's okay for now. Yeah, I mean, it's default fly, you know. Ordinary default fly in my game without any breaths, yeah. As you already know, these little silly flies must have a big fly with a gun that will come for you and solve the problem, but since we are basing it on the original games, the gun had to be removed. Yeah, I know, but he will still beat the player with his shots. After that, I added a hive that spawned flies during life and at the moment of death. Is it imbalanced? Yes, it is. And while we are talking about imbalance, let me introduce you to the worm. It may look cute for the first time, but it's the kind of creature that will make your ass burn. Oh, and the last of the enemies, not counting the boss. Yeah, we will make a boss. But the last enemy is the Hover. It's a little simpleton who from time to time takes shots. Oh, no! As for me, tears are a cool weapon, but I also added bombs that do double damage and destroy some elements of the environment. Then I added pickable items such as hearts and bombs that I put into the sheet. Yeah, into the sheet, I'm right. As you can see, this sheet has 3 health points, and after the destruction it spawns shitty particles with pickable items. When I started adding the chest as a level reward, our player learned how to cast a water. It's just a bug and not a feature. After that, I added a unique loot that can fall out from the chest. Yeah, it's a bomb monster that will hurt the player if he doesn't defeat him. You know, I like this Dark Souls note in my game. After all of this, I added one of the most important things for the feeling of our game. These are blood trails that will paint the entire room during combat, specifically when the player receives damage and when enemies die. Next I created levels and started working on the boss fights. Out of all the bosses, I choose the monster as one of the most recognizable, and programmed his 2 states. By default he chases the player and does damage when it gets close enough, but every 4 or 6 seconds he will drop a bunch of bombs, each of which can take one player's heart. And while I was creating a boss reward, I turned his room into to an Indiana Jones treasury, you know, which increases with each player shot. And after treasury fix, I think it already looks like a cool remake and one of my best games. You can try to play or speedrun it. I think it would be interesting because my best time is 9 minutes. You know where you can find the link to the game, so yeah, and check my other video with another cool game, bro.